Let us discuss today a simple application of BJT as a transistor as a switch. Previous class, we studied the BJT, then we studied like how the BJT will be act as amplifier, then we studied how the BJT will be act as a switches. So then we see some numericals related to that. Next, let us discuss how with the help of BJT, that is with the help of the BJT switch, how we can develop one simple application. Now the application is with the help of the BJT, we need to turn on the LED and we have to turn off the LED. This is the application. So for simple, we have to give a square wave is the input voltage because the input normally you can give the voltages in terms of sine wave only. Normally we might have thought like this is will be your this will be like to 5 millivolt. But now here what I'm doing, like it's a switch in the sense it will have only two possible states. Two possible state in the sense either off or on. Only two cases. So for these two cases, so we need the input as square wave. Only in the square wave you will get the both the condition. Like this will be a like say example. See, this is the square wave here is given. So this is high. This is high. This is one, or I can say it is on. This will be zero. This one. This one will be
Excuse me,
zero,
sir.
or we can consider off.
Excuse me, sir.
In this square wave, we can give this high one is nothing but on, this will be off. That is the input we are going to give here. So now here what we are giving in the sun, just when the square wave is at 0 volt, that is at this, if this zero, the transistor will be in the cutoff. Cutoff means it is off actually. And since there will be no collector current, because already we discussed if the input is equal to zero, there will not be any base current. If the base current is zero, then there will not be any collector current also. So there is no collector current because here you can see in this circuit what happened. So here we connected the one LED here. We connected across the collector terminal here. So now what will happen? If there is any current, then only LED will glow. Else the LED will not glow. So that is why you can see there is no collector current. The LED does not emit the light due to input is equal to 0 volt in the square wave. Next, when the square wave goes high, that is on actually to the high level, then normally the transistor will be in saturates. So simple we can say when square wave is 0, then this will be in the cutoff, then square wave is equal to 1, then this will be in the saturation. So cutoff in the sense off, then saturation means on. So this is what you need to keep it in the mind. So the transistor saturates, then that will be in the forward bias. Forward bias the LED, this one. So when it is giving the forward bias, automatically what will happen, there will be small amount of current will flow. Then automatically the collector current also receive the current through the LED. So then it will pass the light. So we can say the LED will be on for only 1 second and it will be turn off for 1 more second. Why? Because when you're going to generate a square wave, now example, this is the square wave in the sense, what is the time duration of this? See, this is completely, I can say it is a time period, that is a T, total time period. In this is the on time, this will be your off time. So on time is 1 second, off time is 1 second. So automatically what will happen here? This LED will blink on and off for every 1 second, this will be on and off. That is a simple advantage or simple application here we design with the help of the BJT, the transistor as a switch, how it will act as a switch here. So here you need to see when you're going to use as a switch, what are the different advantages, that is what is the advantages and disadvantages. So very simple here, the advantages are, so you need a very small amount of current to switch on the transistor. Only very small amount current is only required for the base terminal. Then the transistor will itself handles the most of the load current, which is the load current, and this only is nothing but a load current during the like collector terminal. That only we can say. The next advantage will be the transistor will be the switch is very fast. Because if we are 1 second, if you give us 1 microsecond, 1 millisecond on and off time, automatically the switch will be on and off for every microsecond. Then the transistor switch will be very, very fast. Then the cost is very less and the size will be small. Then it will produce zero noise as compared to the relays. So we might have need the relay. What is the need relay? The relay is mechanical switch actually. It is a mechanical switch that will produce some kind of noise compared to the BJT as a switch. So now it will be more reliable as compared to the electromechanical switches. What will be the main disadvantage of this? The disadvantage will be like it can be used to switch on and off to DC loads only. So we cannot use for AC loads. Then the temperature can affect the switching operation, and we can say only we can use in low voltage and the current application only we can use. We cannot use this BCHC as a switch in the high application. We cannot use. Now, with the help of this, let us see what is the some numerical is given. So this is the numerical. You can go for that. So now here the question is given. The same figure only we have to take. Which figure in the sense the same. This figure only let us consider. So now that requires 30 milliampere to emit a sufficient level of light. So it requires 30 milliampere. So therefore, the collector current should be approximately 30 milliampere. So for the following circuit, this circuit only, following circuit, determine the amplitude of the square wave input voltage necessary to make sure that the transistor saturates. Now use double the minimum value of base current and as a safety margin to ensure VCC is 9 volt. VCC is 9 volt means which one? This only. This is 9 volt. VCC is 9 volt. Then VCC 9 volt. Then VCE SAT. VCE SAT is 0.3 volt. And RC, this one, RC is 220 ohm. This is 220 ohm. Then RB, this one is nothing but 3.3 kilo ohm. Then beta DC, that is the current again. Beta DC is at 50. That is beta is 50. Then VLED, the voltage at the LED is the voltage of your LED is nothing how much? It is a 1.6 volt. Now, what you have to calculate in the sense here, very important from the question, we need to calculate the input voltage. So, what is the input voltage is required to emit a 30 milliampere if sufficient level of light actually. So, how we can find out in the sense, from the given data, so let us you have to find out the collector saturation current. This is the collector actually, this one. This point we have to find out what IC sat you have to find out. So how we can find the IC sat in the sense here. So the formula will be like this. So here IC sat is nothing but the voltage is which voltage? This voltage, that is VCC, because I need to find out this voltage. If I want to calculate this voltage, then this voltage, that is nothing but the VCC voltage minus even this also will emit LED also. That voltage also is given in the question. How much it is? 1.6 voltage. So VLED, VCC minus VLED, then minus VCE SAT. This is normally the VCE SAT will be negligible, or sometimes we need to use also divided by RC. As per the Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R. So the V terms by R. So just to substitute the corresponding terms over here, the given data, you will get the IC saturation 32.3 milliampere. In the sense, the collector current will be saturation will not go beyond 32.3 milliampere. Then we need to calculate what will be the minimum base current is required here. What is the minimum base current? IB. IB minimum is equal to, that is the saturated collector current by the beta DC. We know the relationship for the current gain. The beta is equal to IC by IB actually. So we need to find the IB minimum. So from this relation, we can find out IC sat is 32.3 milliampere. Already we found here. Then beta DC is given in the question. That is 50. So substitute as 50, we'll get as 646 microampere. Now we need to ensure the saturation. Just to use the twice the value of, because the question they given, use double the minimum value of base current as a safety margin to ensure saturation. So double the value of base current in the sense like now. So already IB minimum is 646 microampere. The double that will be 1.29 milliampere. Now you use the Ohm's law to solve for V in voltage. Now to calculate the V in voltage, first find out the base current first. IB is equal to, as per the rules of V by R, that is IB is equal to VRB by RB. The VRB is nothing but what? That is a base resistance voltage, like VRB is equal to, so from the figure, Vn minus VBE, where the Vn here, see, this is Vn actually, right? This is Vn, because here, this is the Vn, VBE in the sense, this only, because this is the base, this is the emitter. So now, you can see this Vn minus VBE by RB. So already we doesn't know this value. We need to calculate this value only. So substitute the respective value, rearrange the expression, then find out the Vn. So from this Vn, we'll get as 4.96 volts. That is the input voltage we need to apply. So we'll get if I apply 4.96 input voltage, then I will get the sufficient light in the sense it requires 30 milliampere requires. So at the same time, collector current will be approximately 30 milliampere will get output. So with the help of input 4.96. So this is another one more problem related. Same is there. Just to try to solve this problem, same method only. So what are the different applications this BJT as a switch they'll use?
Sir,
One,
some
the very
students are waiting, sir.
the applications of BJT. So now here, some of the the very popular application is nothing but fire alarm system. You see, the fire alarm system, to work on this, we'll use the BJT switch also. You can use then automatic street light. We need to know what is the meaning of the automatic street light. It's simple, in the street. This is the street. You assume as this is the street. Here we are going to have the lights. Here it will be like this will be there. What will happen in daytime? This light will not glow. So during the evening night time, that this light will turn on. How it will be turned on? Based on the intensity, based on the day light, the brightness actually. Based on that, this LED will sense the brightness, then it will turn on and turn off. So to turn on and turn off, what will be that? You have to use the BJT switch. That BJT switch along with that will have the one sensor. That sensor, what will do? It will sense the light actually. That is the LDR, light dependent resistor. So based on that, actually, we can use this. So that is one of the main application as the BJT as a switch. Next, let us discuss about the feedback amplifier. Now, we need to know what is meant by feedback amplifier. Already we know, we studied what is meant by amplifiers. Now, the additional term we given as feedback. So, in the sense, earlier we studied the amplifier. Say, example, this is the amplifier. Example, this is the amplifier they give. What will happen if I give the input as 5 millivolt? If my gain factor is 100, then I will get here 500 millivolt. That is, it's simply to increase the signal strength actually. 5 millivolt will be given as 500 millivolt. But while amplifying, it will increases the strength of the input signal only, but whether it contains the information or noise. We cannot say the output voltage is amplified with the information. Whatever the input we are giving, that all is modified, or along with some noises also added. Because normally when you see any communication line, if you see along with the input signal, the noise will be added. Say example, like if I want to say this is your input signal. Okay, this is the input signal. When I go for communication medium, normally what will happen here, it will add the noise normally. So if you would have seen telephone, which telephone in the sense, the LAN telephone, if you would have seen. So you can see in the LAN telephone, just take the receiver and keep it to your ear. You can hear some kind of noise, even those nobody else talking other side. So none of them is talking from the other end actually, but even though you may receive some of the noise over there, because communication by default, some noises will be generated. So now even that also will be amplified normally. So that has to be reduced. So this noise or some disturbances will be introduced in the amplifier because of the strong tendency to introduce the vibration due to some sudden temperature change or stay electric and magnetic field. So now for this, to avoid that, how it can be done? How it has to be done now? So for that only what they will do, for every high gain amplifier, so whatever the output they are having, just this output will be given to the input. Here we'll fed like this. So each and every time the output signal will be added with the input signal, then automatically it will suppress the noise. This is the ideology here as like using the feedback amplifier. But even though the noise level of the amplifier circuit can be considerable reduced by using the they mentioned as negative feedback amplifier. Normally feedback amplifier will be classified into two types. The one is positive feedback amplifier. The second one is negative feedback amplifier. Two different types of amplifiers. Normally, when you're going for the designing the amplifier, we'll use a negative feedback. When you're going to design the oscillators, for that we'll use the positive feedback. So that we have to keep it in your mind normally. Now, what is the sum? The principles of the feedback amplifier. Now, you see here, the diagram shows this is the very simple feedback amplifier. Now, this is the input signal. Normally, the feedback amplifier generally consists of two parts. The one part is amplifier. This is the amplifier part. Amplifier and the feedback circuit. Here, which is the feedback circuit? This one is nothing but a feedback circuit. Here, this is the, you can call it as feedback gain. The beta factor is a feedback gain. The feedback circuit usually consists of resistors. See, very, very important here. Here, the circuits will be the feedback circuits usually will consist of resistors only. So now the concept of the feedback amplifier can be understood from the following figure. You can see here what we've done here. The input signal is a ES, that is signal source. Now here there is a one summer. This is the summer you can add plus and minus. See, V in. The V in is nothing but input voltage. See, this is input voltage. This is input signal actually. The input voltage will be given to the amplifier. Then here I will get an amplified version. How will get now? What is the V naught? Simple, I can say the V naught will be Vi into A. Keep it in mind. What is V naught? V naught is equal to Vi into A. Normally, why? Because the A is nothing but a gain factor. Normally, already we studied. The A is equal to V naught by Vi. So from this, I can say the V naught is equal to A into Vi. Now, that will fed into the feedback circuit. So this feedback has what? Vi dot A actually. Correct? So it's in beta. Here it is VF. The VF is nothing but feedback voltage. Now, what is the feedback voltage now? VF is equal to Vi into A into beta, or I can say VF is equal to V naught into beta, because even this also a gain factor only, that will be VF here. So now from overall, I can say what is Vi from this actually? Vi is equal to, we can say Vs, correct? So Vs minus, because this is a minus, see, minus Vf. I hope you understood this. Vi is equal to Vs minus Vf. See here, that is what here we can say. Sorry, not minus, it's a plus. Sorry. Because the minus is something negative feedback. We are giving to the negative feedback, is not a subtraction actually. So Vi is equal to the summer. This is the summer actually. It's nothing but a summer. So now Vi is equal to the summation of input signal and the feedback signal. That is nothing but input voltage. See here, they can say. So the voltage is added for positive feedback and subtracted from the negative feedback. So now this is what I written here. Vi is equal to Vs plus Vf. See, Vs plus Vf. Now Vs is Vs only. What about Vf? Vf is nothing but beta into V naught. Vf is equal to, from this simple I can write, right? This Vf is equal to beta into V naught. It's very simple to write. So now we can substitute Vs plus beta into V naught. Now Va is equal to Vs minus, this is positive feedback, Vs plus Vf, positive in the sense, you can say, if it is negative, Vs minus Vf is equal to Vs minus beta into V naught. See now here, plus, if this is plus, then Vi is equal to Vs plus Vf. If this is the minus, we are connected to minus, then Vi is equal to Vs minus Vf. So that is the two conditions here given. See, both the conditions. This is for a positive feedback. This is for negative feedback. So because of both the conditions just here we took. Normally the beta will be what? From this I can say it is a feedback ratio or it's a feedback fraction. So simple I can say the beta is equal to output. See, remember this is the output, this is the input actually for beta. But for A, this will be the output, this will be the input. Don't get confusion here. So now simple I can say beta is equal to Vf by V naught. Now let us consider the negative feedback because normally for amplifiers, feedback amplifier, we need to consider the negative feedback only. The output P naught must be equal to the input voltage multiplied by the gain A of the amplifier. Now let us say what is V naught. Here, this V naught. What is this V naught now? Very simple. We can say the V naught is equal to A into, because this is A, correct? This is A into Vi. That is V naught. V naught is equal to Vi into A. Now we already know what is Vi. Vi is nothing but Vs. See here written minus Vf, or can be written as Vs minus beta into V naught. Now this will be substituted here. See, this whole thing is nothing but a Vi. Vi into here. So Vs minus beta into V naught, A is equal to V naught. Next, multiply this A Vs minus A beta V naught is equal to V naught. Arrange this term V naught by Vs because output is V naught. Input is Vs. This whole circuit only work on. So output by input voltage. So V naught by Vs is equal to A by 1 plus A beta. See, this is one of the very, very important relation. You need to keep it in a mind relation. At any cost, you should not forget this. For negative feedback amplifier, the expression V naught by Vs is equal to A by 1 plus A into beta. Let A F be the overall gain. That is A, this only. A is a overall gain with the feedback of the amplifier. So now this is the definition defined as the ratio of output voltage V naught to the applied signal voltage Vs. That is the ratio of output voltage V naught to the applied signal Vs. That is AF is equal to, this is I can say AF feedback, and AF is equal to V naught by Vs. So now again V naught by Vs. So it will be is equal to A by 1 plus A beta. Now the equation of the gain of the feedback amplifier with the negative feedback, keep it in mind, this is for negative feedback amplifier. If it is positive feedback amplifier, in the sense what will happen? So this should be replaced by this. Automatically what will happen? I'll get as this. Correct? So this is for negative feedback. This is for positive feedback amplifier. A by 1 minus. So very, very important. That is what. See, don't think this plus 1 plus indicates for negative feedback. The 1 minus indicates for positive feedback amplifier. Now in this, let us say some small analysis we'll do from this. Now, normally if beta is very, very greater than, or A beta, assume A into beta is very, very greater than 1. Then how this expression will reduce us? A beta is very, very greater than 1. Or I can say simple, I will do like this. AF is equal to A divided by, I'll take the common as A here. A, if I take common, what will happen? 1 by A plus beta. Okay, then this will become as 1 by A plus beta. Or I can say from this, A into beta is very, very greater than 1. Example, okay, you consider like this only. If A beta is very greater than 1, this 1 will be eliminated. If the 1 is eliminated, then this will become as what? A by A beta. Then AA will get cancelled. Then AF is equal to 1 by beta. See, very simple, I can say the AF is equal to 1 by beta only. So nowhere here is connected with the A value actually. Your output of feedback gain, the AF, so whatever the value the A is get changes, so it won't affect anything. This only thing is the beta value only we need actually. This is what we can say. If it is very, very less, which one? A beta. So normally your beta will be very high. Normally the beta is very high. So these are the feedback amplifiers. The basics of feedback amplifier. I hope you understood this how it has to be done. The next we'll discuss about the properties of feedback amplifier. It's commonly given. So the properties of first, it will reduction in the frequency distortion. The second property will be the reduction in the noise and non-linear distortion. So this frequency distortion in the sense like the output will be fed into the input. Normally, it will reduce the noise. That is what we can say. The frequency distortion. It will reduce in the noise also. Then the effective of the negative feedback on gain and the bandwidth. Then gain stability will be there. Then there will be reduction in the phase distortion also. Now we'll see what are the advantages of feedback amplifier. The advantages will be the input impedance is very high, then it has the better stabilized voltage gain, then it will improve the frequency response, then it will have the lower output impedance, higher input impedance, lower output impedance, then it will reduce the noise actually. The advantage of feedback amplifier is very important, it reduces the noise with more linear operation. So these are the some properties under the feedback advantages of the amplifiers.
Sir,